300 miles. It is Patrick in the green 7 and Earnhardt Jr. in the red 5 in that tandem draft, pushing to the lead. Here come the Roush Fenway Fords to the outside in turn 3. That's Stenhouse and Bain in those two cars, now up to 3rd and 4th. Excuse me, that's Sadler there in with Bain.
I was wondering who Trevor Bain was going to get with there early on, because he was kind of the odd man out in this scenario.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of different partnerships early in this race, because sometimes these guys are not near each other that they plan to run with. Would be surprised to see some unlikely pairings. You can see they broke away from this pack, but they are going to have to switch at some point.
I think the one thing I've seen Dale Jr. do behind Danica is he's breathing his car a little bit more. That's allowed these others to catch up, but they may have to switch before this front two.
For the lead, Patrick Earnhardt Jr. challenged. Here's Trevor Bain in the 60 to the outside with Elliott Sadler's assistance. The defending Daytona 500 winner goes out in front.
Now you see Elliott Sadler offsetting his car, trying to get some air to the nose. It's going to cost him a little bit of time. You can see there, Danica and Junior are catching them.
12 is Sam Hornish Jr. And pushing Hornish, Tony Stewart in the 33.
He had the momentum.
And the only one of these three pairs that thought that they may work together at some point in time is Dale Jr. and Danica Patrick. The others just happened to get together on the start of this race.
Now, you just saw Hornish and Stewart. You'll hear the swap called a lot today.
Yeah, that was a perfect way to execute that right there. It's a perfect place on the track, and you can see that those two veterans really know how to get it done. That was about an efficient swap, as you can see.
Changing up front, Elliott Sadler to the lead. Bain will drop in behind him. They have to do that every so often so that the car that was running in behind that's beginning to run a little warm and get that clean air into the radiator.
And as you can see, that the way they swapped with Stewart and Hornish, they were able to take the lead because their swap was a little more efficient. You can see them really pulling away now.
He's got drafting help from Casey Kane.
I talked to Kurt Busch. He really planned to run with Kyle Busch all day, so we'll look for that to happen later. Whoa, Danica's in the wall a little bit.
Shrek might have scuffed the wall with the right side of that Chevy. One thing that makes this tandem drafting tricky in these Nationwide Series cars, the bumpers are not straight. They're kind of rounded on the cars.
Yeah, it does make it more tricky, and as you move across the back of that with your front bumper, you can find yourself getting you or your partner in serious trouble.
I talked about this before the race started, but having to watch that water temp, that's the first time Danica's had to push, has been in that pushing position, and she had to divide some attention inside that cockpit to look at that water temp gauge, and they're in a lot of heavy traffic, and that's the danger.
Up front, Hornish in the 12 on Tony Stewart for the lead. Here comes Kurt Busch in the 1. Look at the run he's got.
With basically no help. He was getting a little bit from Casey Kane there, but it pushed him all the way to Tony Stewart's bump. I think we're going to see a lot of this today, where last year we saw these drivers and teams get hooked up and stay primarily with who they started with, and that was going to be it. I think we're going to see it all over the board here today.
He's right there behind Elliott Sadler in the 2.
25 cars in that lead pack. Kurt Busch in the 1. Had planned to run with his brother Kyle in that 54, but right now they're nowhere near each other. Kyle's back in 31st place. That's David Reagan in the 27 he's working with. Reagan had to drop to the rear of the field on the pace laps for missing the drivers' meeting.
Well, you don't want to miss the first one.
Of course, Reagan, most recent winner in the Sprint Cup Series here, back last July, getting his first victory.
You're looking down from the blimp on the new leader at Daytona. The 44 is Mike Bliss. His tandem drafting partner is Joe Nemechek in the 87.
You can see they're working together real well. They passed Sam Hornish and Brad Kozlowski. Mike Bliss in a Toyota. It was the highest qualifying Toyota motor in the field. That thing's running today.
It is running, and they've really separated themselves. They put about 10 or 12 car lengths, and everybody else kind of got caught up a little bit in some lap traffic that they had to negotiate here in the last 2 laps.
In the draft with Casey Kane in that 38, and Logano rumbles up to the 5th position as Kurt Busch challenges for the lead.
Logano knows how to win, as he won here in the Nationwide Series back in July.
Performance of the day so far, 44.87. No matter how the afternoon turns out, that's been fun to watch.
Yeah, if they keep this up, the afternoon's going to turn out in their favor.
Side by side for the lead. Kurt Busch in the 1, Dale Jr. in the 5, Bliss in the 44, Nemechek in the 87, and here come Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick, 33 and 7. And by the way, first round of pit stops as few as 5 laps away. 81 car dropping to the inside to let the leaders go by. That's Jason Bowles.
Oh, got a contact. I think right there is what makes these cars, you know, they have more rear spoiler. They're a little more stable than the Sprint Cup cars. That probably would have been a wreck if it had been in the Cup Series.
Caution. Got a car smoking off of turn number 4. Potentially dropping some fluid from that Jason Bowles car.
Definitely having an engine problem. That, what you see there, that smoke coming out of the exhaust pipe, is really indicative of losing all of the coolant out of the system and running it hot, and that's kind of what happens in the end.
Car Taylor Malsom, the Lucky Dog free pass, back on the lead lap to 32nd place. Side by side for the restart, Tony Stewart in the blue car, Kurt Busch in the black and white one. Pushing Kurt Busch to the point. Joey Logano is lined up behind Tony Stewart, and Michael Annett in the 43 with Danica Patrick in the green and black 7. Whoop, change of directions there. Annett's looking for a friend in the draft.
Yeah, and I think Danica's much more comfortable being the car in front, getting pushed. She really has adapted to that. She's done much a better job this year of being attached to someone's bumper when she's in that position. But I think she's much better in the other scenario. Now she's lost her partner, Sam.
plenty good company back there. There's Elliott Sadler in the 2. He was up front contending for the lead earlier.
Wow,
How was that not a wreck?
My gosh.
How was that not a wreck?
Luck.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to be lucky.
Just before this, you see Mike Wallace in 0-1. Him and Kenny were making a lot of headway going to the front.
I'm sure that was Robert Richardson Jr. that was sideways down in 1 and 2, and I could have taken out a lot of cars.
.43 is Annette, 23 is Richardson, 0-1 and 0-9 are the Wallace brothers, Mike and Kenny.
Oh, and that got, wow. Richardson had to jump out of the throttle right quick, and that'll turn these cars sideways.
Tell you,
Michael Ness being very aggressive here.
Nice
in the first half of this
save,
race.
Robert Richardson. There are so many things to be fascinated by in this race so far. People getting shuffled to the back, coming back to the front, the comparison between the tandem draft and the single draft.
Danica sideways.
Oh no, into the wall. Caution's out.
I was talking about the tri-oval being a very loose part of the racetrack. Entering turns 1 and 3 too is where your car gets light. You just can't be bumping in these corners.
Second round of pit stops, Dave.
Denny Hamlin shown his 5th right now. Alan, they will take no tires. Did not hurt them coming in. Fuel only. Jamie.
87 and Joe Nemechek will take left sides this time. Took rights last time. They said we'll outsmart him all day, Vince.
Tires looked great for Dale Jr., so fuel only and a fresh tear off. Clean it away. Not
bottom right, 2 right side tire. Whoa, coming out contact. Kyle Busch trying to come off of pit road. The 88 of Cole Witt trying to come in, and Witt goes around as Kyle Busch has contact leaving the pits after changing only 2 right side tires.
Denny Hamlin leads him to the green. Up front, Kurt Busch back to the point. Brad Keselowski in the outside lane, leading that charge with help from Casey Kane.
See the brothers Wallace hooked up here, Kenny and Mike, see if they can get to the front with their 2 machines.
That is so tight.
loyal to Tony Stewart. Where does that leave Denny Hamlin in the red and black 18, especially now that his teammate Brian Scott appears to have his car a bit injured?
That was Scott in some of that contact
on the back stretch.
4.
Mike Bliss.
Oh man, Mike had such a good run going here. That's a lot of damage to that car.
Caution is out, third one of the race at the midway point. When you crash on the straightaway, that's usually an indication that something went wrong.
Yeah, he had to get out of the throttle. You saw they were catching somebody really quick right there. As soon as he backed off the throttle, he got hit.
Caution is out at Daytona International Speedway for the 4th time in this race. Brian Scott in the Joe Gibbs Racing 11. Not looking as pretty as it was earlier.
Another victim of A little bit of contact across.
Highlight reel of this one's going to be bump drafting gone bad. Michael Annett in the 43, James Busher in the 30, the black car to that side.
Yeah, I think Brian Scott pulled down thinking that Michael Annett would help push him by that car. They had a nice little run going there, but Annett hooked him in the right rear and turned him straight into the wall. Actually tried to do the James Busher before he got to the wall.
Yeah, but James Busher got a pretty good lick there. They'll probably have to have some damage repaired.
Probably good that he hit Busher before he hit the wall, broke a little bit of the momentum.
You, bud. We're all done in here. I'll step back and enjoy the show then.
Stewart lined up 8th for the restart. That will come with 22 laps to go. Just over 50 miles remaining in this race. On the lead lap, 33 cars. Trevor Bayne, the last of them. Green flag at Daytona. Now's when something I'll call the politics of the draft comes into play. Last year's Rookie of the Year's got nobody to draft with. He's going to go from leading to left.
Traffic jam getting into turn 3.
Kenny Wallace to the lead. 09 car. Being very well drafted with by Robert Richardson in the 23. The Texan.
Here comes Tony Stewart and Elliott Sadler to the high side, though.
And to the bottom, Denny Hamlin in the 18, pushed by Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Smoke said sit back and watch the show if these next 20 laps are any more entertaining than what we've seen the first 100. Should be fun.
Trouble off turn 4, a dozen cars involved. Caution is out. That's Reed Sorensen, Casey Roderick in the 08, Mike Wallace, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Truex, and more.
It's a chain reaction that started way up front. So there's Denny Hamlin.
With pack racing, the history at Daytona has been the closer you get to the finish, the harder people press, the less give and take there is, the more likely the big wreck.
Yeah, there's still plenty of take. There's just no give as you get toward the end.
Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, there's Allgaier. He was one of the first ones to make contact with the wall. Actually got up on top of the wall. See Kurt Busch going up through the middle with Kyle. And then all of them start getting together right at the front of the field.
You can see that started, looked like with Trevor Bayne getting separated. Got a little bit loose behind the 6.
You see somebody drives right underneath of Allgaier.
Yeah, that's the 52, Reed Sorensen, that was underneath him.
He was completely underneath.
See Johanna Long getting a piece of that. Not a lot of contact, but she has some damage to the left front. I believe it starts right here. Watch Trevor Bayne. May have to jump out of the throttle and get sideways here. A lot of times, June, you have to jump out to keep them running over that car in front of you. Your car will just jump for about a half a lane.
I'm telling you, Reed Sorensen was completely underneath Justin Allgaier's car.
With Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh, he got a good view.
Check that right front fender on his car. Got a little contact there.
Clear to the bottom. Clear to the bottom. Wrecking in front of you. Stay low. Stay low. Stay low. Come on. Wreck it behind you. Come on. Got.
Wow. I cannot imagine that was a fun view for Reed Sorensen. Potential winners of this one. Green flag. On Brother Kurt's back bumper. They go to the lead. 6 is Stenhouse, 12 is Hornish. It's Stewart on the outside with Elliott Sadler and the 2 drafting with him.
We saw Casey Kane in there hooked up with Joey Logano in the 20. He won here back in July.
And by the way, keep an eye, the black car with the blue logo on the hood, David Reagan in the 27, and Trevor Bayne pushing him. Stewart walked in there as jumping to the outside lane is Stenhouse, pushed by Hornish.
Stewart looks like he wants to go to the middle, see if they can make that work through for a pass.
3 wide for the race lead.
As far as they did. Nemechek's destroyed too. You see David Reagan, his car is destroyed.
It's the yellow 12. That's around the area where it all begins.
Yeah, that's not to say that, of course, David Reagan was getting a big push from behind there, but you know, Hornish was up there, and like David Reagan tried to stick his nose in there and maybe take the spot away. Just product of late racing and pack racing here at Daytona.
1 back.
Yeah, you can see right
and they're inside.
there.
You're in the middle, 3 wide.
Like Reagan tried to force it.
Below. Well, keep coming there if you can. Keep coming there. We got damage there, Bruce.
I'm curious from your perspective as a driver, Dale, when you're in the draft, Trevor Bayne's pushing David Reagan.
Yeah, you got to go somewhere.
That's what I said. Yeah, he didn't have much choice there. Hornish left that open a little bit by being a little bit too high there maybe. But David Reagan was getting pushed, and just nothing you can do. You have to steer your car where it's going.
And I guess my point was, even if Reagan had lifted off the gas, he was still being pushed.
Yeah, you can see right here, riding with Trevor Bayne. He's connected to the rear bumper of Reagan.
Easy. Check up. Keep coming. You're all good. They're crashing behind.
To go in a race that's seen 37 lead changes and lots of shuffling up front. Who's going to get to the checkered flag first? Get out front.
Stay to him.
Joey Logano, outside lane in the 20. He's got to push in the draft. That's Trevor Bayne in the 60, the Daytona 500 defending winner.
Coming back from 2 laps down, Trevor Bayne is.
And Stewart boxed in for the moment.
Yeah, that's the problem that they have right now. He and Elliott Sadler are tucked up, and they have nowhere to go right now. Could be clear here in just a second to make that run.
You're about 3 off a cut.
Looks like Stewart's car.
The white flag is out.
Stewart, maybe.
The last lap is underway. Who gets back first if there's no accident?
I think they're going to have a hard time, even though Logano has a big run, getting back first to Kyle Busch right here.
I don't know. Looks like they might have a run. They do.
back down, come back down, come
To
back
block.
down.
Cut the other way. Half a lap to go. Here comes Stewart in the 33 as Logano goes to the point. 3 wide in turn 4. A squeeze to the outside wall. Trouble in the corner. Hard, vicious crash. Who gets through to win the race? Caution flag has just been called. The race leader is James Busher in the 30 car.
Unbelievable.
A heavy crash in the final corner of the race. Kyle Busch's car. Trevor Bayne. Ricky Stenhouse.
It looked like Stewart tried to force it on the outside. Not quite enough room to make it happen.
Well, he had the room. I think that maybe Joey Logano moved up to try to block that progress.
Here's Kurt Busch. The key to the moment is when the caution was officially called. NASCAR reviewing at the moment in race control. There's Tony Stewart. And we'll wait for confirmation of it, but when I heard NASCAR call the caution on its race control channel, James Busher was out in front of the pack. We'll see.
Stewart had an incredible run going into turn 3.
I actually thought he had something maybe wrong with his car, maybe missing or something as they came down the front straightaway. They were hooked up, but they just weren't going anywhere with he and Elliott Sadler. You're right, he had such a run.
The call has come. James Busher has won this race.
That's incredible. I don't know that I've ever seen that many leaders taken out come to the check.
There's Tony out of the car. And there is Busher. 21 years old. From Texas. Got married in the offseason to the daughter of his team owner. Campaigning in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on a full-time basis this season, part-time in the Nationwide Series, and he is going to hold a winner's trophy at Daytona.
Yeah, this race was really about surviving, and he was the one that survived to the finish line.
I really, as we go back and look at some of the replays, I want to see how he wove through the wreck because he was 8th at the white flag.
I don't think he was that high up when they were coming through turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, I didn't agree. Yeah, more cars than that wrecked in front of him. Some others that got through there that have some damage, but Elliott Sadler and Austin Dillon didn't make it through. They're going to come out with somewhere maybe top 5 finishes.
All right, turns 3 and 4 coming to the checkered flag.
I really believe Logano pulls up in front to block Tony Stewart here. Let's see if that is what happened, or if it's Trevor Bayne. Now there's Logano. See, yeah, Kurt Busch was actually blocking and moved them up. Hard hit by Kyle Busch, head on into the wall.
And there comes Busher through the bottom.
Yeah, I think maybe Brad Keselowski's going to finish 2nd and Elliott Sadler 3rd.
What a mess.
Great job of missing all of that. That's what you have to do. You keep yourself in this. Just ask, people. Over the years, we've seen it happen a number of times. Things happen on the last lap. But he's going to victory lane at Daytona.